Welcome back. I've got a quick video for you today. I have some more torches that were sent in via RovyVon. So what I thought I would do is just a quick comparison of these three different models. I have the E5, the E7 and the E8. The included items with these torches is exactly the same. You get two split rings and a clip, stainless steel clip. The split rings, they have two different sizes. One of them is more of a sort of standard keyring size and the other one is quite a bit thicker. Also included is a spare port cover. I'll just quickly show you attaching the clip. It is quite firm. You just have to make sure that it snaps into place. You can see the moulded material sort of holds it in place once you've pushed it in far enough. It's quite a strong clip. It's not going to come off by accident. I just put a bit of information there with the size and the weight. The difference between the E5 and the E7 is purely in two areas. The E7 has a blue aluminium head and the E5 has an orange one. There is one other difference which I'll get onto a bit later, and that's just the glow-in-the-dark colour. The design is exactly the same on these two, no difference at all. The latch is stronger on some of these torches. On the E5 I have to use something to sort of prise it open. On the other two it's not as strong. There is a bit of variation in terms of that. They're all using the USB-C for charging and they all have polycarbonate bodies, which is quite a strong material. The E5 and E7 have those auxiliary LEDs on the front, and you can see the two that I have here. I have the red and the UV with the warm white surrounding it. Just to show you the E8, which is essentially the same thing, except what they have done is put the auxiliary LEDs on the side. Again, we've got different variations and combinations you can get, but the main thing here is we've got a lens over the LEDs, which is a bit different to the other ones, and it's got a metal casing around it. All of these torches have the dual power source, so you have the option of using AAA batteries in there if you want, and that comes with an automatic or a manual switchover. You're free to use the rechargeable or the disposable ones. I usually prefer to use the rechargeables. And this will just quickly show you the options that you have available for the different emitters. Not all of these were available to buy on their website though when I checked, so we perhaps got some more of those chip shortages. All of these have the optical lenses on the LEDs. And here's the second difference with the E5 to E7 is the E7 has a blue glow in the dark. And for some reason the E8 is just the middle part on the inner frame that glows in the dark. Very similar design to the E3, we've just got that polycarbonate body compared to the fully metal body. Thought I'd cover the UI quickly on this just to show you. The top switch gives you your momentary when you push it in. That stays on as long as you hold it in. To get to the moonlight it's a single press, long press will then turn it off. To turn it on, just give it a double press on the top switch. When it's on, single press will cycle through the 3 power levels. Triple press takes you to your strobe mode with a single press for off. And if you want to manually switch the battery types, triple press when you're in the moonlight mode, and you can see the color changing there from blue to green, so you'll always know which battery that you're using. They do give you a lockout too, so you can press that 4 times to lock. Again, you're going to know whether you're locked or unlocked with the LED being blue for locked and green unlocked. The lower switch is always for the auxiliary LEDs, so that makes it a bit easier to get used to. Single press on low and then it will cycle between low and high. Get to the UV, you can double press that. Again, long press will turn off that LED. If you have the red, you can do a double press for that. Single press will cycle through the low and high, and you can triple press for the flashing modes, and there are 2. I'll show you those later on with a few beam shots that I've done. Here's some of the spec on screen for you, just so you can have a look on the outputs with the different options that you have. You'll notice that the output does vary depending on whether or not you've got the cool or the warmer white, and you'll see that in some of the beam shots in a minute. We'll move on to the charging now. You can see that we get a charge rate of just under half an amp. The charge capacity of the battery came in just over 300. One thing I did notice though is the E8 UV LED is definitely stronger in comparison to the E5. although it's not as bright. It seems to have a higher UV reaction than the E5 does for some reason. We'll start off with our normal beam shot now with the Unicorn, moderate output 850 lumens. You can see when I move on to the E8 at 70 lumens, I can still see the shed, and there's quite a jump up to 500 lumens. This is the 4000 Kelvin warm white LED. The E5 is basically exactly the same in terms of the output. The E7 version I have is the cool white, so you'll be able to see quite a difference in terms of the tint, but it does have a slightly higher output. A few more beam shots now, so have a look at those and I'll give you a few thoughts at the end of the video. I haven't done a pros and cons list for these torches because it's pretty much the same as the E3 in terms of the things that I think you'll like and the things that might not be quite as good. The UI is not too bad on this because you can get used to it with that bottom switch always being the auxiliary LEDs. There is quite a big jump in terms of the power levels. So I think if you're going to make use of those extra LEDs, they could be quite an interesting option for you. And as you can see with the beam shots, they're certainly bright enough with the warm white and red LEDs at the high level to be useful. In other words, you can see where you're going outside. Whether or not you need those additional LEDs is going to be down to each person individually. I think they're quite useful and worthwhile, but if you don't want those, there are other models that the company has with just the normal emitters on the top. Be interesting to hear what you think of these models. If you've got any thoughts on that, do drop a comment below. And as usual, thanks for watching.